So, Josh, have you ever seen those tire explosions for like the big truck tires?
Dude, those can be crazy.
Well, I used to work for a moving company with me and my dad, and there's a story of one time he was coming home. It was late at night, and he's going down this really big mountain, and he's probably going about 70, 65. Yeah, your
Okay.
usual truck speed. And, he hears that, it's that very distinct noise. It's that ding. And as he hears it and starts to feel the truck be a little bit weird, he looks at the people in the cab with him, and he goes, "Hold on, it's about to get rough." And as so, the dude, and this
It's
is
gonna get rough, boys. Y'all better hold on.
well, at the time, this is one of our newer helpers, and he looks at my dad concerned because my dad is one of these serious people that's never he doesn't he'll joke around with you, but with stuff like that, he doesn't joke. And so this truck suddenly does a wheelie in the air, and this isn't like a small pickup truck either. This is like a 16,000-pound semi.
So the tire popped and sent it?
Yeah, the tire popped
my
and
God.
sent it, and it, by the grace of all that is pure, this thing landed and is sitting there balancing basically on three wheels, flying down this mountain. And my dad's just sitting here trying to hold it on the road so it doesn't flip over and kill him and everyone else on the road. And so he starts slowly trying to glide it over. And as he glides it, he manages to finally get like a really rough spot in the road that slows it down enough and just lays it down on that side. So that's my beginning story. Today we're talking about work stories. Welcome back to Accept the Moments. I'm your host, Colton.
I'm Josh. What a story to start it out with, Colton.
The heck of a start.
What a start.
So
Work stories. Hit us with something good, Colton.
Well, I got a few good ones. We'll call this place, I used to work for a moving company, and we'll go ahead and call it Moving Company Extra. So, Moving Company Extra, I used to work there for a little while, and we'll call it Extra for short.
We'll call it extra. I'm only being a little extra with the naming. We'll call it
Yeah, I can't give everything away. I gotta keep my secrets to myself.
All right, then.
You never know
Keep
who's
your secrets.
Keep your secrets then. Anyway, so yeah, a few good stories I have from there. I think the one I'd like to talk about, the funniest sounding at least, is we were on the road one time. It was a very short move, so we were only going cross state, so it's something we could do in a day. And we're sitting there moving everything over, and I'm with one of the newer helpers at this point, and this guy, towards the end of the day, he's kind of messing stuff up, but he's doing all right. And towards the end of the day, we get in this trailer together, and we start moving. It's like 200 degrees, and we're getting towards the end of the trailer, and we're trying to pack everything up onto it to move the house. And, well, we get to one section of it, and there's this big, king-size mattress. So, what you do in these scenarios is you have, two levels, and the top level has, a shelf with, plywood. So, you can set the stuff on there, and it's kind of set
And
up.
it's going to be, yeah.
Yeah, and it stays still, and you're not damaging
It's going to
the
be
mattress.
supported.
You can't put the mattress on the outside of the truck, because obvious reasons. If it rains, you're destroying the person. I know, right?
No.
Who wants mildew? Anyway.
Me, I do. Mildew for you. It's the Oprah of mildew.
It's a freaking Oprah Winfrey of mildew. No, so we're setting this up on there. I get my side up, and I'm waiting on him to get his, and he is struggling by this point. We've been working for about 6 hours. And
That's not too long.
that's
I
not
guess
too
for
long,
moving,
but
though.
yeah, you're moving furniture that entire 6 hours.
Okay, yeah,
You're
that's a
ready to be
long
done.
time for moving.
So I have my side up, right? And this guy, he's trying to get his side up, and he's trying. And finally, he hits muscle failure. And this, it's one of those memory foam mattresses, the original one, so it weighs about 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. And this thing comes down like a pendulum and swings and straight up smacks me dead center and sends me flying against this freight trailer wall.
Ooh!
So I hit the wall and go splat like a cartoon, sliding down the entire time. You can hear it going.
And meanwhile, this homie's over there like a rag doll on the floor, just...
He looks at me. Well, he's like, this guy is legitimately concerned at the time, and I'm not going to give a name for this, by the way. Love you, brother, though, if you're out there. And so, no, he looks at me and he goes, "Are you okay?" And the wind's knocked out of me at this point, so the only thing I could do is
double thumbs up in the
just
air.
double thumbs up, just like, I'm good. Got a cough up my lung now, but I'm fine.
Oh man.
So yeah, that was one of the shorter stories from it, but a little bit of a longer story is there was one guy we used to have who was he was like my manager.
Yeah.
So he kind of ran the dock, made sure everything was organized, and shortly after this, I actually just became a dockhand, pretty much. And so he would give me stuff to do. Well, there was one day he would just go missing randomly. So it would be about...
Huh.
Yeah, no, right? So about noon or about 1, it wouldn't be his break. He would still technically be on the clock, and he would just go missing. And nobody could find him. Nobody could find him at all. And this happened
He didn't go back for a smoke. He just disappeared.
this man vanished.
He went to the shadow realm.
He straight up, dipped. And his car wouldn't leave the lot either. His car was still there. So this dude would, disappear like he was in an episode of Black Mirror. And
Homie was gone.
He wasn't in the bathroom. He wasn't in anything. So finally, we're looking for this dude. And after about a few weeks, I get asked by the boss, and he goes, "Do you know where, we'll call him George. So you know where George is?" And I was just like, "No, man, I don't know where he is. I gotta go clean some trailers. I can't find him." And so my boss at the time finally goes to look in the cameras, and he finds out that this guy has literally... so do you know what those vaults are? Where they key... So they're wooden... They call them vaults, but they're basically giant wooden boxes made out of plywood.
Yeah.
And they'll build them up with these little metal hinges.
Mm-hmm.
And to put people's furniture inside of them. Well, what he had done is over the course of a month, he had made a hole in the center of all these vaults. And he would take 2 of them that were in the front of the main stack. He would pick them up with the forklift and then back into the hole he made and drop the boxes so he could sleep on the clock.
Oh, so then you just can't find this guy, so you're just like, oh, well, he's working somewhere.
Yeah, so he would be like, oh yeah, and he would always come back, and no one ever could find out what happened to him. And
did no one ever see the forklift disappear? Or did he wait till everyone was gone? And
he left till everyone was gone because we always had
even then for being on a dock.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is we always had one forklift that would be out for maintenance. So randomly having a forklift gone was one of those things.
Yeah.
And since he was the one that did the paperwork for all that, it's kind of no one checked the paperwork.
Because that was him that checked the paperwork.
Yeah,
dude.
So everybody just assumed that the forklift that was missing was just out for maintenance or something. I guess it would have been
This man was
obvious
like the
time.
kid that you go to Walmart and you make the little forts in those shelves. You go in the toilet paper aisle and you make a hole in between. And you just hide out there for a couple hours.
He was...
like those YouTube channels, really.
He was in the toilet paper for the furniture.
Yeah, honestly. Man.
He had a nice little setup back there, too. It had, air conditioning and everything. He could just sit there and take a nap.
I mean... My man, I can't blame him necessarily because I guess he put a lot of work into it, quote unquote. But
no, I mean, hey, in his defense, that
warehouse
was smart. Always looked beautiful, and I can't say I'm angry at him for what he did.
I mean, he disappeared for an hour at a time, maybe?
Yeah, it'd always be an hour at a time, same day or same time every day.
Homie had just set in his day. You know what? Who cares if I'm working? Forget my lunch break. I'm going to add a nap break.
The man straight up had a schedule, I swear. He'd hear his watch go off, be like, well, it's time for me to go, and then just disappear.
I wish I could do that.
No, there's a lot of stuff that was kind of funny about that. But, so Josh, do you have any work stories about I know you worked in a little bit of a different line of work.
Yeah,
but-
I don't have the same sort of experiences that you do now. So I work with my brother for his catering company, and I have for 7 years now. And it's more that I just end up in the kitchen with the catering company, obviously. We're in the kitchen cooking food. Sometimes we do some setup for different events, like we've done conferences, we've done weddings, we've done like teacher events, like random stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have stories of people I've worked with. Like there's this one kid, and he would, this is actually the one time he ever worked with us. So one of the things that we did yearly was there was this place that had summer camps, and they were just like, hey, if y'all will like, it wasn't really catering because we used their kitchen, and it was a good
Well, I mean,
kitchen.
it's still catering. You guys are still making the food.
I mean, true, but we would just make the food there. And actually, it was our home kitchen for a while. They were just like, do all our events at this place, and like you can treat this as your home kitchen for the catering too. So they had their camps for the teenagers, obviously, through the summer. And this was one of the kids there that he was probably 18, 19, maybe 19. And he was sort of what they called support staff.
Oh, he was a staph infection, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Like they had the staff and they had the support staff who they were like, yeah, you guys are going to do everything that no one else wants to do. So that's who they were. But this kid ended up working with us on a real catering job somehow. This day was an 18-hour day. So this kid went from like setting up sports games and like doing laundry for his room and all that kind of
actually
stuff.
Like
Just basic
catering.
camp life. And he went from that to a real catering job, but an 18-hour day of a catering job.
yeah. I mean, you guys, that's a common occurrence for you, isn't it?
12 to 15-hour days is the common
so it's
occurrence.
it's not ridiculously long.
It's not ridiculously long, but there were a couple of days, like we had a casino job once, that's what I call it. That's not really, I don't remember what it really was. But they had set up so much alcohol and so much, like a casino. They had what do you call the units, the money grabbers, whatever. They were playing the games, right? And
the best kind of gambler is a drunk gambler.
exactly. So we would have the meal.
Yeah.
So actually, this day we did a 6:30 dinner, which was late for what we normally do, because normally we try to do 5:30 to 6. So this was like 6:30, and then it runs over a little bit, so it was really closer to 7 before we started serving. So the way we did it, because this was a plated meal night, I believe, and the way we have to do those, because sometimes we can just set up a buffet, boom, we're done, and people just go through, get it themselves, and we're done. We're good. I love those days. It's beautiful. But there are some days we have to plate.
Okay.
So we have a tray that we carry that can only fit 3, maybe 4 plates on it. And when you have jobs of 4, 5, 600 people, it takes a long...
Only?
It takes a little while. So, especially 3 plates at a time, plus we would have to get like a server. I don't want to use their real name. They would basically serve the tables because there wasn't enough of us. So we would just have a line going of just keeping plates, like prepping plates live, putting them on the trays, taking the trays out there. And we had like a big circle going. And most of the time it went pretty smooth. But so this kid, I don't know what tangent I went on. I just remembered I was talking about the kid. So the kid, who I'll just leave unnamed, whatever. He one day works with us on one of these 18-hour day jobs. And it was a plating job. That's why I started talking about that. Yeehaw.
Yeah.
So, it was weird. He was like my shadow. Like, he would not leave my side. But he was also on his phone the entire day.
So
he would not put his phone down.
So he's like one of those kids that picks up his phone and tries to basically avoid work by getting somebody else to do it for him.
kind of, but he would still stand right there in the open. He would just be on his phone. He didn't run off and hide.
See,
he would stand square in the kitchen, in everyone's sight, and just be on his phone. And we'd tell him to... At first, it started like we'd give him something to do, and he'd jump right on it. And that was like the first few hours, 2, 3. And after that, like, he'd be on his phone, and it'd be kind of like, hey, can you do this? And he'd, like, do it once. And in a catering where you're making a bunch of food, there's a lot of, I'm going to call it recursive. And it's like, hey, do this thing. It's do it till it's done, not do it once and walk away.
See, I hate that. And it's like, we actually had a dude like that. It was on one of our moves. Mm-hmm. Where, and this really goes for anybody that gets on their phone or just like starts screwing around while they're supposed to be working. So this one kid did something similar. He would come up to the driver at this move. And every 5 seconds, he'd be like, what do I grab next? 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 And finally, the driver was getting obviously pissed.
Well, yeah. There's an extent of you're on a job. I get learning what you have to do for a job. But there's a flow.
Well, this kid wasn't also the brightest crayon in the box.
Oh, yeah.
He tried to push a broken down forklift with the emergency brake on. So, whenever we asked him to clean a baler, he tried to clean it from the inside with the baler still closed.
Honestly, you know what? That's common. People being idiots like that. Because I can't tell you how many... Because we would have little carts that we would push stuff around on. And the amount of times we would have a cart in a corner with the wheels locked. Mm-hmm. And someone would take it, drag it a little bit, realize it's not rolling, and not think, oh, hey, let's check the wheels. They go, hey, let's drag this all the way across the building. We had to replace so many wheels on carts because of that.
The entire time.
It's actually skirting. It's destroying the floor. The wheels are already destroyed when you do that.
Yeah, they're flat and they make that clunk sound whenever you drive them. But
well, even then, they have like a little. I don't want to call it protect. It's like imagine you're just taking a tire, and when you're dragging it on there, whatever the thing's keeping it locked is like carving chunks out of it. Mm-hmm. So now as the cart rolls, there's a bump in the wheel. So that hits, and every time the wheel rolls, it's ba-bum, 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 ba-bum.
Yeah.
And then the cart's shaking, and if you have drinks on a cart, yeehaw, now they're everywhere. You have stuff falling off. Yeah, yeehaw, they're everywhere.
Back in my day, we used to have a wagon. Anyway.
And, the kid. So he would be on his phone, and this happened the whole day. And like I said, he got to the point where he would just like... I would say, like, we would have multiple pans of, let's say, put rolls on a pan to cook them, right? Yeah. And it'd be like, hey, it was 40 to a pan, put 40 on this pan, and do it till you're out of rolls. He would do one pan and then go back to the side and get on his phone. It's like, dude, we need, 13 pans of this done. It's not even hard.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I was saying about the guy I used to work with. So he's annoying this driver at this point. And he keeps coming up and asking, and he's just like, what do I do next? Should I grab this? And he even goes as far as to, whenever he's told to grab boxes, he puts, like, the lightest thing on a dolly. And the driver walks up and he goes, he put the washboard on the dolly. He put it on the dolly. So he finally gets, he gets so mad at this kid. And he walks up to him and goes, look, I'm not going to tell you this again. House to truck, truck to house, don't fuck it up. Beats his chest and goes, get it done. And this kid...
Beats his chest, goes up and...
Like, no, he straight up, like, walks up to this kid, like a gorilla, beats his chest and goes, house to truck, truck to house, get it done. And this kid looks so offended, but starts going anyway. And
how can you be offended when you're doing the worst at a job that you can?
Oh, no, the rest of us were pissed, because it was obvious that he just didn't want to work.
Yeah.
Like, he was one of those kids that was trying to act like he was working. But he never actually did his job.
Okay, there are a few jobs where very occasionally you do need to just look busy.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely a thing.
And that happens. But if you're a moving company
and you're trying to actively, like, you're trying to get furniture out of a house so everybody can, because your end goal is you don't want to be there. You want to get home, get paid. The driver doesn't want you there longer than you need to.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's most of his money out. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with that. What were you saying?
Oh, I was close. So, the kid, after he's doing this all day long, me and two other friends of mine, we, at the end of the day, we're the ones back in the dish room, the four of us. Or actually, it was the three of us to start out with the phone kid being just kind of out front, the front of the kitchen. And so my brother, who's like the head of everything happening in this kitchen, goes, hey, go back there and help them with the dishes, which we kind of had a flow going, but we could have been a little faster, but we're also 16 hours in.
Yeah.
But we had a flow going, right? And we're all just kind of mindlessly going. So the kid comes back there, and he stands on his phone. And I try to tell him something to do, and it was another one of those, he moves like one pan that we have just cleaned, and he's back on his phone. Except this time, like I was already kind of pissed that he was doing this, but this time, this kid decided, well, obviously not consciously, but he just happened, oh my god, this got on my nerves, he just happened to be in my way, exactly perfectly in my way, no matter where he moved. He did not look up from his phone once. I'd be like, dude, get out of my way. He'd move. And suddenly he's in my way again. The next thing I have to move, I'm like, dude, get out of my way. And he moves again. He's in my way again. So finally, I look at him.
If that phone ain't gone,
no, I just told him.
It's going to be gone.
I just told him, like, dude, get out. Go back up front.
Yeah.
Get out. You're only in my way. And, like, I'm telling this him to his face, and I'm obviously pissed out of my mind. We're 16 hours into a day. We're trying to clean up and get home. And he's standing there, and he's in our way slowing us down. He's not helping us slowing us down. I'm like, get out. At least you won't be in my way. So he goes up front. A minute later, comes waddling back, and he gets on his phone. I go, no, we are not, like, I am, like, smoke is pouring out of my ears. I'm like, no, we are not doing this right now. Literally grab him by the arm. I walk him to my brother, and I kind of, like, you know, you like toss someone. I like tossed him, and not really,
The
but
Spartan kick him at your brother.
But I brought him up, and I'm like, he
this
is doing nothing back here with us. And I'm like, he's only in our way. And, like, I'm telling my brother this, but it's in front of this kid. I'm like, he's only standing on his phone. He's only in my way, and he's not helping when I'm telling him to help. You keep him up here and find him something to do. I'm not taking him. And I go back and continue working.
That's what I want to
And my brother got the hint. Like, I didn't go up there personally and say that the first time. It's just, it was the straw that broke the, well, it wasn't really a straw, but the straw that broke the camel's back. And we finished the day. We never saw him again after that.
See, we always had at the place I used to work, the Extra Moving Company, we used to have
the Extra Moving Company, yeah.
Well, you had a rule, you know, it's like, if you got time to, and this is most places you go, you know, you got time to lean, you got time to clean, and if you caught anybody, well, it didn't necessarily even mean that you had to clean something, but you needed to do something at all times, help the job finish.
True. In a kitchen environment, though, that is very applicable. I can't tell
you how many people I had to throw off my dock because they wouldn't get off their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was retarded. And we actually, our boss at the time did not put up with it. If he found you on your phone at all, saw you on the camera, saw you on the job site looking at your phone, he would assume you've been on it the entire day and tell you to go ahead and collect your stuff and go home. And
permanently or for the day? Oof.
He did not put up with it.
He did not play around.
No. Like, this dude was, he used to be a paratrooper. And he was very, very, like, he was kind of terrifying.
Nice.
I used to work with a bunch of ex-cons, and we were all terrified of him.
Dude. I understand the rage from that.
Oh, he even had the perfect, like, knife hand, too, if you know what I'm talking about. Like,
the Dr. Phil knife hand.
Like, he'd come up to you like, get off your phone, go home, you're
not
done.
Coming back.
You're done. And it was,
man.
Yeah, I know. He was strict. Honestly, I didn't necessarily like working for him, but as a person, he was all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people I know like that. It's like, if I had to
Yeah.
work for you, I would just quit immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you're a great friend, sure.
Yeah, no, he's an awesome person. I've seen him every now and again in person. But yeah, just as a boss, it was really hard to work there.
Right.
Helped me out through a bad time though.
That's cool.
I'd say I don't really have the other work stories I have from there aren't many, but I do kind of have a little bit of a transition here. I also work at a grocery store, and I have a few good ones from there. And one of the ones that this is a more recent one. I had a lady come in, and we were, yeah, so Josh already knows what I'm about to say. So at this place, it's a generic grocery store. We're supposed to ask people, like if they'd like their stuff out. And a little bit of world building here, set the scene. I'm going to drop the curtains for you.
Oh, really?
Give you a little bit of a peer into my, the happenings of the background.
Oh, the happenings of the background
so if you ever,
of the Colton at the unnamed grocery store.
So at the generic grocery store, we have usually behind the scenes, we don't care if you actually want your stuff taken out or not. We don't care how your day's going, but we're going to ask it anyway because we're trying to pass the time like you're trying to pass the time. We just want you out of the store. So, no, seriously. But I get back from the back and I start doing my job, and as I do, and I'm just kind of asking anybody that needs help. It's a bit of a slower day, so I'm just kind of looking for something to do. And I ask her, I'm like, hey, can I help you out today? And she looks at me with like the oddest look up and down and goes, "You'll do." And at this point, I am a little creeped out.
Honey,
this is not how you start a conversation with anybody, in case you're wondering. So
no, I've started conversations like that. You walk up to someone, you look them up and down.
Side eyebrow.
You'll do.
Yeah. So I'm taking I'm like, all right, whatever. It's a little weird. So before a little bit of scene building, there's several bosses we have here, and two of them, she's already asked if somebody can do a project for her, which that comes into play a little bit later, but just kind of so I don't know this at this time. I'm just asking her if she'd like her stuff out. I'm doing my job. So we start walking out to her car, and about halfway through, she starts getting kind of weird. Like, she's kind of playing with her hands. She's acting kind of nervous, not really saying anything. And we get through the door, and the very second we walk through this door, she looks at me dead in my eyes and starts stuttering, like she's about to ask the most important question. Like, she doesn't know. Yeah, no. I feel like she's about to drop down on one knee and ask me to marry her. Like, that is the kind of, like, I guess you could say
that's how she carried herself in that moment.
Yeah, I was like almost nervous kind of vibe. Like, this is going to be life altering. It was,
which for her really it was,
and it was pretty life altering. I'll tell you that. I will never forget this day. Anyway,
anyway, you're helping her out the door.
Yeah, so I'm helping her out. She kind of gets nervous a little bit, and she starts talking to me, and she's like, "Hey, I have, I need somebody to come to my house and take care of my lawn." And she doesn't really give a whole lot of detail. And she asks if I knew anybody, but was obviously like hinting towards me to go take care of her lawn. And I said,
"Do you know anybody? Here, I have a picture. It's a mirror. Do you know anybody?"
Kind of handing me a 20. No.
By the way, totally unrelated. I'm just going to slide you this.
Yeah, no, this has nothing to do with it. Where's the pocket in your apron?
Well, she was looking for the pocket in your apron.
Look at the hole in my apron.
Yeah. Anyway.
I picked a bad day to wear assless chaps. Anyway. No, so she starts asking this question, and she's like, man, she's like, I just really need somebody to come fertilize my lawn. you know anybody? And I was like, well, I know a few guys. I know a buddy of mine with a lawn care company. And she was like, well, I actually usually have a guy that comes and does it, but he canceled on me. And I just really need someone. I don't need a company. I just need someone to come fertilize my lawn. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really sure if I know anybody at this. I've kind of caught wind of what's happening here, right? Like, I'm not stupid.
Oh, you want to fertilize her lawn, buddy?
Yeah, I know, right? I was just like, no, I don't really. I kept it on the lawn thing too. I was just like, I don't really know anybody that could pesticide or fertilize your lawn for you, but I'm sure if you went to like Ace Hardware, Home Depot, anywhere that's not here, a grocery store, you could probably find somebody. I'm sure they have somebody in the lawn care department that actually be able to help you out. And she goes, well, it's a different kind of fertilizer that can only be done at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And mind you, like, we're not in some dark alley at this point. We are in front of the store,
in a lit
right
parking lot
of the door, broad daylight.
Oh, this was daylight.
Customers are coming out of the store, walking by us, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know anybody. This is I couldn't tell you. So she kind of gets quiet after that. We walk to the car, and then as we're walking, she starts to insist on it a little bit more. She's like, well, I'm older and I just really need it done, and I'll pay you. And at this point, I'm loading her groceries, and I just kind of, I stop, because I don't know how to respond to this at this point. I'm just kind of like, oh, there's no way you can respond to that.
I mean, not as an employee at
right
generic grocery store.
Yeah, you're just
because
like,
now suddenly that's
how does it anybody at anywhere? That's just like,
yeah. How do you directly address that when you're in uniform?
Yeah, you're just like, huh. So what? I legitimately, I stopped putting her stuff in the car for a second. I look at her and I'm like, no one here will be able to help you out with what you need. I am sorry about that. And she goes, oh, okay. And I finished putting her stuff in, and then she just kind of walks away. So
walks away from the car. She's just like, I don't care about the groceries. I just came in to find you.
Yeah, no. She that's pretty much what it felt like.
Really?
She sulked away, and
she went back in to get more groceries and to get someone else to help her carry them
she was
out.
looking for a different bag, a different bag boy, if you know what I mean. Well, she was looking for a boy with a bag.
Yeah, she wanted the bag.
Different kind of bag.
She wanted the fertilizer. Different kind of fertilizer.
Well, is it fertilizer?
A different kind of lawn too.
No, so this she kind of sulks
insane.
away, gets in her car, and I just kind of walk away, and I wish the story ended there. So
she chases you. No, please. Only your fertilizer will work.
Somebody. And
my regular is gone. Does that mean like her husband's out of town? Like what happened?
I don't know. Like I don't ask these kind of questions.
Oh well.
I let crazy be crazy. Crazy. For the sake of yes. Anyway, so I go back inside and I'm talking to the lady at the front desk because I have to report this. Like this is something I can't let another bagger, get caught up like this.
You can't let another bagger.
Yeah.
Yeah. The look he just gave me.
The realization when it popped in.
It took a second to sink in, but once it did.
So
anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so I report. No, you're good. I reported it to management, and my manager kind of asked me. She, calls me over. She's like, "Hey, come here," and then she asked me about the lady, and I was just like, I thought I was in trouble for something. Maybe
you're in trouble for not helping her out.
No,
it's an old lady called
money,
in.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
It's just a tip for.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a different kind of tip. Anyway, go ahead.
It's just the tip, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, not with her.
Anyway.
Well, here's the thing. You know what she looks like? I have no idea. Why are you doing that? Anyway.
Nothing. Anyway.
It's getting hot in here. Okay, go ahead.
So copyright.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the story. So my manager calls me over, and she goes, "So that lady that asked you, did she happen to ask you about fertilizing her lawn?" And I went, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh yeah, she asked me if any baggers or any specifically guys in the store would be able to follow her home and help her with her lawn care." She didn't go into detail with her about what it was, and I told her kind of the side of the story I got, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we'll keep an eye out for her." I mean, obviously though, because that's like honest. Then I found out from another manager that apparently she also asked him about trying, and he's like in his 40s.
Oh.
So like, yeah, she wasn't just looking for someone specific. She was just trying.
She was just looking for anybody that fit the bill. And...
Yeah, she was looking for X guy. I just happened to be the one. I was right place, right time.
Well,
you know, stuff like that. It makes me wonder. It's like, what's going on inside their head, and it's kind of the reason I reported it too, because it's like you don't know who they are. You don't know, like, anybody that's in a mental state to go to X grocery store and ask for something like that and think that it's like they can't be going through anything good.
No, something's obviously up.
And she did seem off. Like, I'm not, even like my manager said that. She's like, yeah, she seemed a little weird when we talked to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I found out a few days later that apparently she also talked to one of the girls at the desk.
Oh, and wanted her?
Yeah, no. So what she said to her is she was also very vague, and apparently she changed the story from her to me. So everybody she asked something a little different. She asked me about fertilizing her lawn. She asked her about cutting her lawn.
Oh!
So what she was trying to do is she wanted, and I'll leave desk girl. Her name is desk girl in this case. So you know, she's the girl of the desk. It's kind of like
she's the girl of the desk variety.
It's like the voice of the tree. No, so what she had asked her to do, she didn't just ask her about that. She also went, "Can you leave my number in the break room so that people?" So like she was trying to set up a bounty board for this.
I know somebody that she could have worked out with. It's the dude who left the lotion and the toilet paper in the employee bathroom.
Ah, yes.
You need to tell that
separate story.
Yeah, it's a totally different story.
That was the Bush's lady.
Yeah, Bush's baked beans, but she wanted...
Oh, she was looking for some beans, all right.
Yeah.
Anyway. So there's a bit of a separate story, and we're almost out of time. So this story is... I was working back in the back at this time, and day's going on normally, and there's not really much going on. It's a very busy day, and one of the we know it was one of the guys up front, but we don't exactly know who. So day's going on, and I go into the bathroom because I gotta go. You know, eventually you gotta do it. Whatever.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
Just in case.
By the way, the human body needs a separate schedule. Anyway.
The Bush lady wanted to teach you about the human body.
So I walk in this bathroom, and there is a half-empty bottle of Jergens. So I'm
Funny enough, that's exactly what he was doing.
Oh, he was Jergens. He was Jergens it off.
Half a bottle?
Like, this thing is almost empty. Like, he was... Toothpaste. He was doing the thing with toothpaste, like he was trying.
Where you were rolling it up and like.
He was having a stressful.
I don't know how to
it was kind of busy,
that.
So, you know, he was having a stressful day.
I guess
it was 4th of July, so you know I understand.
Well, there were
fireworks of some kind.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So there's this half-empty bottle of Jergens, and I asked my manager at the time about it, and he goes, "Oh." He just assumes because I was asking. He goes, "Oh, was it you?" I was like, "No."
Yes, it was me. I left it in there and then went to my manager and admitted.
I figured, you know, by telling you, you'd think that it wasn't it wasn't me because self-reporting on Among Us, basically. It's
yeah. By the way, guys,
version of that.
The jacking off version of Among Us. Oh my god. Yeah, let's stop that one there.
Anyway, so yeah, there was a lotion bottle that was found in the men's bathroom.
Well, from my perspective, all I get one day is randomly it's a day that I know Colton is working.
Yeah, so
It's a weekend. Colton works on the weekends. And randomly, in the middle of the day, I get a picture of a bottle of Jergens and a half of a roll of toilet paper. And he goes, guess what I found in the employee bathroom? I'm like, my response was like, Colton, you didn't need to share that with me. Like, I don't care what you do, but just don't tell me.
He's like, listen, I don't care what kind of sin. I'm not a Catholic church. I don't care. I don't got the confessions box over here.
Right, I'm not. I don't know. I don't want to continue that.
I think it's best that we don't. Well, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for accepting the moments. I've been your host, Colton.
I've been Josh, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.